Let's talk a little Halo, Sean. Now that
Let's
it's
do it.
now that Max is gone, and it's just me and you.
The Halos will play.
So this story is so fresh, it didn't even make it onto my show planner here. It's on my computer in front of me, which I try not to have on during the show because it's distracting. Halo Online has been announced, a free-to-play online shooter for PC.
But there's a catch.
There's a catch.
Yeah.
It's only coming out in Russia. Russia, it's being made by Saber Interactive, which is the guys that have been doing the anniversary remakes for Halo 1 and Halo 2. So they're going to be, here we go. Halo Online will launch this spring only in Russia. It's designed to run well on lower-end PCs. There's no campaign mode, but the game is set on a secret UNSC space station called Anvil, where Spartans train together and test new technology, which basically sounds exactly like the fictional justification for Halo 4's multiplayer with aboard the Infinity. Yes.
Yeah. This is super weird.
During the upcoming closed beta, the developers will monitor and adjust gameplay features and the in-game economy. There are no plans to bring Halo Online to the Xbox One. What the hell, Sean Finnegan?
Honestly, I have no idea. This comes so out of left field and is so unlike Microsoft or the Halo franchise, right? Like, most of the time it's been about super high polish, like AAA budget and construction games for mass audiences that are like built into that first-person DNA.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, like a first-person shooter that's PC. Like, people have been wanting Halo PC forever. That kind of makes sense. But why Russia? And why free-to-play? And why Russia? I need your sort of expertise
in communist
on this.
Russia, Halo plays you.
Exactly.
Just a few more basic details. It runs on a modified Halo 3 engine, hence the lower-end PC spec.
Right.
So our people were there. IGN Russia was there. So this is a real. I'm not kidding, and I know Phil's probably going to chuckle when he hears this driving in the car. When our guys told me about this, like, oh, our European people are saying that they're at an event where Halo Online's being announced, I said, I literally don't believe you.
Yeah.
I literally do not believe you.
Pics or it didn't happen.
That does not sound like something Microsoft would do, right? With Halo. So it's modified Halo 3 engine. It will include classic weapons and vehicles, fan favorite maps, and new ones, one of which includes a Russian town. Takes place right after the events of Halo 3, and of course optimized for keyboard and mouse controls. 4 to 16 players. And again, as I told you, Saber Interactive. It'll be published and operated by Innova Systems, a Moscow-based company that operates well-known MMOs in Russia, including Lineage 2 and APB Reloaded, which are the two I've heard of.
So there may be some strategy to this, now that I'm thinking about it more in depth.
But why Russia, Sean?
Well, so that's the thing, is like, if the Russian territory actually has been known to really love MMO and like free-to-play type shooters. Like World of Tanks is a huge thing out there.
Yes.
Like, basically every Russian in the world plays World of Tanks, and it has an incredibly loyal, successful, and rabid fan base that doesn't really extend to like the US or other parts of European markets or Japan or the Asian markets. Like, that game doesn't really, no one really plays that game here or in like those markets. But so maybe I'm thinking like this is a localized test, right? Like, they put it in Russia, they see like, does this have legs? Can this grow? Like, do people like it in a market where they're kind of like inclined to like those types of games? Yeah. And if it's successful, maybe they do bring it worldwide, or they do not make it just a single country. What do you think there? Is that
That's
speculation?
Probably fair to say, because otherwise, like, I don't see how this helps the Halo brand.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
see how this really makes them a ton of money. It just is very, very odd all around.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, especially like some of the other parts make sense to me. I mean, it makes sense to double down on your big franchises, right? Like, you have Halo, you have Minecraft. It makes sense to make those as accessible as possible.
Right.
But in the past, they've been really, they've kept the Halo license very closely guarded, right? Like,
very true.
They want full creative control. They don't want anyone else not handling it that isn't like in the mainframe of Microsoft. Mm-hmm. They haven't been able to strike up deals with creatives on the outside of it. Like, they want to do their own web series and films, like internally with them in control instead of the studios. It just seems strange that they would let this off to Russia or to like any localized sort of part of the world, but I guess like if you with some speculation, I guess it could fit in there, you know.
So let me ask you this. First of all, I do agree with you. I think the Russian market's a test bed because like Call of Duty Online is a thing that exists, a free-to-play shooter in China.
Yeah.
And that's because the Chinese game market, which is obviously enormous given 2 billion people, free-to-play is sort of the baseline standard there. So I guess just the Russia thing surprised me because I would have expected maybe a China over, as opposed. But I agree with you. I think this is a test bed. We'll see where it goes. But the big question I have for you as a fellow Halo fan is, if this were available in the United States, would you care? Would you play it based on just these initial details?
As the world's biggest Halo fanboy, I would say yes. Like, I would give it a try.
Yeah.
Honestly, nowadays a shooter has to do a lot to pull me away from Counter-Strike, because whenever I'm playing it, I'm like, why I could just be playing Counter-Strike, right? But if they gave me something Counter-Strike-esque, which Counter-Strike is, it's not free to play because you have to buy it, but it has free to play like mechanisms now. The game's evolved a lot since it came out, like skins and stuff, or cosmetic things that you can change your gameplay, or that change your game experience but don't affect the gameplay. If Halo did something like that, I would love to play that. Like if the mechanics were good and it felt like Halo but it was on PC and it had sort of like skins and sort of customizability, I could see myself really getting into something like that.
I'm also surprised there's no mention in this announcement of all the Windows 10 stuff.
Oh.
Because that which hasn't launched, because the game is launching in the spring, and the Windows 10 stuff won't be launching yet. So
right.
I wonder if that's a thing that's going to get folded in over time. But the good news is we have people over there. We have IGNs everywhere, which is we're lucky to have. So we will have a lot of coverage on this so that you can get to play it vicariously through us, I guess, and we'll be playing it vicariously through
the Russians.
Through our Russian people. But so stay tuned for more on Halo Online. A real thing. Of course, you remember years ago.
A real puzzling thing, yeah.
Years ago, Ensemble, the guys that did Halo Wars, but they also had a Halo MMO in the works that was canceled. There was some concept art that eventually made its way out of that. But so that was the online Halo for PC that we never got. This is what we are going to get. So it's a variant of Halo 3 with some familiar maps, with some new ones, 4 to 16 players.
Mouse and keyboard.
Free to play, mouse and keyboard online, but only in Russia. So stay tuned for IGN. Stay tuned to IGN for more on that. And that concludes our breaking news segment.
All right.
I like that.
Me too.